Hello everyone, this is Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing team. I'm coming to you today from USA International Speedway. USA International is the current track in the iRacing Legends Cars season. This is season 1 of the 2021 race year. Week 3 today is, I think, Tuesday. I've had a lot of folks contact me and ask how you get around this racetrack. I've been able to be fairly successful here. I'm certainly not going to win as many races as some of these other hot shoes. Matt Coker is a guy that comes to mind. You should frankly look Matt up on YouTube. If you're seeing this video, you should look Matt up as well. But I thought what I'd do today is maybe walk you through how I get around USA International Speedway. I'll kind of put you in the cockpit with me. I'm going to keep the gas, brake, and clutch visible so that you can see where I'm getting on and off of on the gas. I don't use any brake at USA International Speedway. I'm going to take a look at some of the results here, and you can see I ran a 6:78, which was the fastest time in this practice. It's probably not quite fast enough to win a race in Split 1, but it ought to put you to the front in Split 2 or Split 3, and quite frankly, I think you'd be competitive in Split 1, but I'm not sure that 6:78 is going to be good enough. In any case, I thought I'd walk you through kind of how I go around the racetrack here. We're going to start out by going around a couple, 3 laps with, I guess we'll do it with the driving line on. I find it helps me to explain to you kind of where I am and what I'm doing. And let's go ahead and crawl in the cockpit so you're seeing the driver's view. This is on the back straightaway. We go ahead and get through this corner. And we'll start a lap from right here. So this is going to be running a lap. Basically, we'll run several laps here, but I'm going to walk through what I do. Now, the first thing to note is you want to be as close to the wall as you can be without hitting it. That's USA International, and it seems to me that USA International runs that way whether you're in a street stock or in a Legends car. I haven't run it yet in a modified, but in the ARCA car is the same way. You want to be as close to the wall as you can be without hitting it. As you come down the straightaway, you want to be at full throttle as you're out of the corner. And when you get to the flag stand here in a Legends car, if you're running 98 or better as you come into turn number 1, you're going to have a pretty good lap if you can hold the car. So what I do here is I'll go ahead and run to about right there. There's a little white mark. You can just see it. You see this little light colored mark right here? That is part of my turn in. I'm going to slow walk you forward here. This is part of what I watch for my turn in. You see just this littlest white mark right here? When I see that, I know it's time to turn in. If you're following along on the driving line, you want to be turning in just as the driving line turns white. You can see I went over that white line, and that's when I started my turn in. You can see I'm turning down now. And if you're using the driving line, and I encourage you to, especially if you're new to iRacing, the driving line will help you be consistent. Then I try to go across and turn in just as I come to this little white patch. Back up, and you can see that little white patch right here. That's my signal. As soon as it goes under the nose of my car, that's when I start my turn in to turn number 1. I want to be well across that line by the time I get to this green light. As you can see, there's the green light. I'm about centered, and as the green light goes by, I'm going underneath that line. So I want to be well into the corner by the time I get to that green light. We're rolling completely out of the throttle. I didn't get quite low enough that time. Get back into the throttle. You do want to kind of roll in. You can see here, it looks like I go into it pretty quickly, but if you listen to the car, you can see that I don't really get completely back into the throttle all at once. I don't want it to be like a light switch. I want to be rolling into the throttle at least to about the halfway point, and then once the car settles, and you can kind of feel it, especially if you have some force feedback available, you can feel the car settle, and that's when you go ahead and mash the throttle harder. Up against the wall here, about as far out as you can be. Now this is an interesting spot. It's an access road, I think, for USA International, but it's an opening in the wall. And when I run a lap, I always try to scoot out just a little bit as I get to this opening because it changes the entry angle into turn number 3. So you can see I move over just a little bit. If the wall had continued, I would have hit it. And just as it looks like I'm going to hit the wall, that's when I want to turn into turn number 3. I'll start my turn right here. come in pretty aggressively there. Let the car drift all the way down to the yellow line. Roll back into the throttle. I think in 3 and 4, for me, it's a little more important to roll into the throttle even a little more slowly, especially early in a run when the tires are cold. The car kind of wants to get out from under you here at USA International on cold tires. So I try to roll into the throttle just a little bit as I come out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway. Get back into the throttle hard and get up against the wall here as you come to the start-finish line. Again, we're at about 98 miles an hour, so we should have a pretty good lap coming here. That one shows a 27.569 because I wasn't fully up to speed. Let's see what this lap was. The last lap, this one was a 23.726, a pretty good lap there. I would take that under most conditions. Now I'm right up against the wall again. Let's run another lap, and this time we're going to run it at full speed without pausing. Watch for the white mark. There it is. Turn in. Get all the way down onto that yellow line. Try to hold it there if you can. Car drifted up on me a little. That's going to cost me some time. Right out against this outside wall. Come into the opening. Go out a little, then in just as it looks like you're going to hit the wall. Off the throttle. And right onto that yellow line. Okay, so that's the line that I follow. Now let's look at the throttle control. All right. It's not enough just to follow a good line. You have to get on and off the throttle at the right time. So let's go on down here. Let's get close. There's that white mark again right here. That's the mark that I look for my turn-in spot. Let's see where I get off the throttle. I drive into the corner, so I stay on the throttle until I'm fairly well into the corner. How do I know when to get off? Honestly, for me, it's a feel thing. I don't really have a mark here for getting off the throttle. I suppose sometimes if I'm really focused, I'll try to get off the throttle just as this red mark looks like it's going to disappear. So this red vertical mark right here, I might try to get off the throttle when it looks like it's kind of lining up with the right side of my windshield here. But mostly for me, it's a feel thing. So I let off the throttle there. The other thing that I watch for here when I come in is I'm looking at, can I get the car down onto that yellow line? I came in a little hard this time. I didn't quite get down on the yellow line. That cost me some time. Where did I pick the throttle up? Let's back up here and see. I actually start picking the throttle up a little bit before the apex of the corner. Again, it's a feel thing for me. I know a lot of folks have a mark, and that's probably a little better way to drive, but for me it's a feel thing. When I feel the car settle in, I start to roll into the throttle, and with my setup, the front end of the car rotates just a little bit through the corner, and that's where I get on. Now here, I've got a little better mark. So what I'm going to do on this lap, I ran a 7:17 last lap, a really fast lap. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come out a little bit toward this outside wall. I'm going to turn in just as it looks like I'm going to smack the wall. Now, there's a bump in this corner, and I try to let off the throttle just before the bump, and you can get that by the timing, so you kind of can see where this bump is. Watch my car jump. See that little jump right there? Let's back that up. You're going to watch right here, and you'll see, if you watch sort of this line, you'll see my car wiggle. It'll kind of wiggle up and down. There's a little bump in the track there. See it right there? There it is. Okay. I try to let off just before my car hits that bump. That's kind of a timing thing. It's a thing you get a feel for when you run the timing enough. You get this turn in at about the same point. You come across the track, and as you come into turn number 3, you feel that little bump. That little bump, if you're on the throttle, then you've driven too deep. If you're off too far before that, you didn't go quite deep enough. At USA International, my experience has been better to get off the throttle a little early than to get off of it a little late. So let's watch this now at full speed. We'll back up a little bit, and we'll watch this corner at full speed. There's the bump, right down onto the yellow line. Roll into the throttle as quickly as you can and keep the car steady. The quicker you get into the throttle and the quicker you're able to keep that car on the bottom line, the better lap you're going to run. Okay. Drove down into the corner again there. Tires are warming up, so I've got a little more grip. This is going to be a good lap because I stuck to that yellow line all the way around. That's where the speed is. If you stick to the yellow line through the corner, you're going to be fast. Right down on the yellow line again. I can feel that underneath the car, rolling into the throttle out of turn number 4. this should be a dandy lap, and it's the 6:78. Let's back that up a little bit. On that lap, when we get to the start-finish line, we're almost to 99 miles an hour. Right? So that's a quick lap at USA International. Let's back up. Let's back up a couple of laps, and let's turn the driving line off so you can see what this looks like without the driving line. I encourage everyone, as you become more comfortable in iRacing, to race more often with that driving line off. It's an important tool to help you figure out how to run a track, but once you get a good feel for that track, start looking for your marks. Right? So we just finished our 27.569 lap. We're coming down the front straightaway here. We're at a 27.126. There's the white mark. Turn in, the 2 wheels down onto the yellow line. Car drifted up on me a little, so this is going to be a slower lap. Into the throttle hard, right up against the outside wall. That outside wall is key. Swerve out a little, turn in just when it looks like you're going to hit the wall. Let off the throttle before you feel that bump. Roll back into the gas as you come out onto this front straightaway. Doing 98 at the start-finish line. Turn in. Roll out. That was a 7:17. Very good lap. Right up against the outside wall again. Here we're going to swerve out. Now watch for that little bump. There's the wiggle. Do you see it? Just a little drop. You can see it right here. It kind of went drop. That's the wiggle that you're looking for. That's a good indication of where to be off the throttle. There's the 754. Really into the corner well here. Both wheels on that yellow line coming out. Swinging out wide. Let the car drift right up against the wall. You don't want any distance between you and the wall if you can keep from it. There's the bump. I let off just as I got there. That's almost a perfect entry. Come out of turn number 4, right up against the wall. This is going to be the quickest lap of the night, the 6:78. Let's see what that looks like if we watch it through the chase cam. So let's go back and watch lap 40 again. 40 was our quick lap. And let's watch lap 40 and 41 again. So here's lap 40. Really not quite close enough to the wall there. I can stand to be a little closer. And getting in the throttle as quick as you can really helps. Rolling back in is also important for tire management at USA International. Another thing you need to know about USA International is your best laps are going to be around lap 767, 567, and then your times will slowly fall off until about somewhere around lap 20. If you have a really good setup, it'll be around lap 20. If you don't, it'll be earlier. And then your times are just going to fall off a cliff. So USA International is really about 3 things. 1, it's about qualifying. I'll try, if I get a chance, to put a qualifying video together also in the next day or 2 to get uploaded for y'all. 2, it's about figuring out how to keep your car right on the yellow line. That yellow line is where the speed is. It's where the speed is, it seems to me, no matter what series we're racing in. You get 2 wheels down on that yellow line and keep them there, you're good. You don't want to get below, like I did there. That causes you to loosen up a little. And then the 3rd thing is about throttle management and tire management. You want to do a good job of taking care of tires. That's the quick way around USA International Speedway. I hope you all have enjoyed it. I hope you benefit from it. Our idea here is to give you the tools you need to go fast in the Legends Series with this set of how-to videos on how to run up front in the Legends cars. This is Aaron Johnson for the Johnson iRacing team saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.